Thank you. I'm Barb Dubovich, and it's truly an honor to be here to accept this award on Joan's behalf, and I'm glad to be here with Mary Owen Stacks, Joan's niece. So, as Fran had said, Joan was a strong advocate for youth who dedicated her entire professional career to ensuring children and youth were provided with quality experiences. In the campfire world, she was legendary for her visionary leadership and her ability to get things done. She was also known as somewhat of a maverick. And for those of us that knew her well, we could easily say that she didn't always color between the lines. She embodied our independent Alaskan spirit, and if it was the right thing to do for children, she worked tirelessly to make it happen. I remember her telling me about the early years of our rural Alaska program when the organization was still just for girls. As you can imagine, our program was and is a happening place for kids in rural Alaska during the summer months. Joan told me how boys would come to the program and want to learn to swim and do the activities as well. She said it was ridiculous to turn them away, especially with the concerns about drownings of youth and the amount of time young men and boys spent around the water, so she told the staff to include them in our program. It took her, and many others, several years before they could get our national organization to transform into a co-ed organization. And I remember that she told me that in the interim, before they made that strategic shift to become co-ed, she forgot to mention to the national office that we were already serving boys. From our national office standpoint, they wouldn't have been at all surprised. She was always at the forefront of change here in Alaska with our kids as well as on the national level. Even today, we can see her imprint on our community. As was mentioned decades ago, youth went home to empty houses after school, and they were called latchkey kids. The before and after school program she began has provided hundreds of thousands of youth and their families with care during out of school hours. Hundreds of thousands. She regularly gave voice to children's issues in our state and worked to ensure that all youth, regardless of their family's income, had access to quality experiences. She was an inspiration, definitely a visionary, with a deep passion and a caring for our Alaskan youth. She was an advocate and a mentor for a number of women in our community. She was active in the League of Women Voters, the Alaska Women's Political Caucus, the Human Services Coalition, and recognized as a YWCA Woman of Achievement. I had the privilege of working with her for 20 years and cannot begin to describe what I'd learned. It's truly an honor to be here, and we thank everyone for making this happen. Thank you.